In this video, I wanted to draw attention to closing the loop of the course, right? I wanted to bring everything to a head and deliver it to you with a bow on top, right? So if we were to look at the syllabus again, I think the quickest way to cross-check everything would be to focus on the assignment chart, pages 5 and 6. And you can take this content and cross-check it with everything that appears in your MyGrades, right? So in the MyGrades, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts, 7 posts, I'm skipping around, post 8, post 9, post 10, and post 11. So that would be these 11 posts right here. You would see in your MyGrades, media analyses 1, media analysis 2, and media analysis 3 that would connect to the 3 media analyses. You would see all of the content connecting to the midterm project, conceptual associative meaning, semantic features, semantic roles, the 2 sets of those, and then meaning properties and meaning relations. These all together took up the midterm project, and the math works out. 8, 5, 13, 4, 17, 9, 26, 4, 30, and that would be 30 projects for the midterm. And then the final project in the social media project is what we're going to get to in a second. And then the attendance and participation is as a standalone item here, and that would be determined after the final exam period. Now, a couple of points. I think that in a course about language should matter. This terminology, final exam period, that is the college's terminology, right? And I want us to get on the same page with that we don't have a final exam per se. And I was stressing that in recent announcements that we have a final project and we have a social media project. These 2 projects would take up 60 total points, 30 for final and 30 for social media. And they would assume to be situated within the college's final exam period, which technically I think technically we just now start that today, the 11th. It goes until the 17th. But here, as a distance learning course, as an asynchronous course, we had some flexibility here with the schedule. So I actually expanded this date to 2 days after the 14th. So this range of time is December 4th through December 16th. And I do that for a couple of reasons, which hopefully I am able to illuminate. We know that these are the final 2 things, the final project and the social media project. Those are the final 2 things that you would have to do. Everything else is in my court. Papers, assignments, they're being returned and evaluated too. The only thing you could really concern yourself with is accessing, completing, and submitting the designated material. Now, if you look at the announcement from the 19th of November, I said that there were 2 changes that were going to be rolled out, and I am now announcing those 2 changes in the video, in this video right now. The first is the Blackboard version of the rubric for the social media project. Now, to submit the social media project, by the way, you simply click the social media project link in the dashboard, and everything is still here. This is the raw point rubric, which, you know what, let's try to keep it clean. I'm going to delete that, and I'll show you why. So you have the about, you have the examples, you have all of the various sources, and then you have the submit social media project here. You would still click this black link above, and you would follow all of these rules to guide your submission. But I point out in the November 19th announcement that a Blackboard version of the rubric that I just deleted will be now available. So part of the reason why I deleted that link was because the Blackboard rubric is now available. If you click, a quick way to get to it would just be to go to My Grades and scroll down. And then beneath Submit Social Media Project here, you can click View Rubric, and you can see the 30-point breakdown. There are 4 categories. 7.5 points is your cap for each of those categories, and that would be the 30 points. So it's no longer, I mean, the descriptor language and the category language is exactly the same as was in the linked rubric I just deleted, but I wanted it to be Blackboard oriented for just the sake of consistency. And these are direct points to your course total percentage. So that's important. And that is everything with the exception of the final project. Now let's talk about the final project, the dreaded final project. Again, terminology matters. I want you not to think of this as a final exam, even though it's in the college's final exam period. But there is, I'm not gonna, sugarcoat it. There is kind of an exam feel to it, at least the first part of it. So if you click where it says final exam period in the dashboard, you'll see that I identify what the goals are. And, again, I'm gonna make this all consistent so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. 1216, and I say that on purpose. You're doing 2 things here. You're submitting the social media project as instructed through the portal at the bottom of the social media project link on dashboard. So right here, you click it, and you see the due date by tonight, 30 possible points, and you can also get a quick way to view the rubric like this. And part of why I was releasing this video today is because I wanted you to kind of like purge yourself of this first, so that you weren't too beholden to it as you were finishing the final project, which is not the same as the social media project. So getting this off your plate, you can afford maybe to give yourself an hour off, I hope, and come back to the remaining course obligation, which is this, and put it away and be done with it, right? So what you would have to do next, and that's why we have a range of time in which to do it, 5 more days, is the actual final project itself comes in 2 stages. Now, the first stage would be this linked portion. If you were to click it open, it is using Blackboard's test format, but I don't want you to think of it as heavily an exam as much as you just tapping into knowledge. Several of you, as I make this video, several of you have already done it, which is good, which is great. But it's 8 questions. It's 8 questions, and you would click the begin button. I give you an hour, and ideally, it's all true or false, fill in the blank, or short answer questions. And they are all based on the PowerPoint, the final exam PowerPoint information. So if we go back to, I believe it was weeks 11 and 12. No, actually not. It was technically a little bit earlier. But you have an initial set of documentation for the final project, and truth conditional semantics and formalization of meaning is the second part of that. It spills over into weeks 11 and 12 for formalization of meaning. So the videos and the PowerPoints, I might suggest, if it's been a few weeks since you've looked at them, to just go over them again. Maybe take an hour, maybe take a day even, and just rewatch crucial parts of it, or examine the PowerPoint content again, just to get more comfortable with what's going on with it. Because you will, the 8 questions in the final exam periods document or assignment of the final project, that the 8 questions are meant to tap into those materials. So you click begin, and the questions are fairly self-explanatory. There are 8 questions, all right here, 8 questions. It's an exam technically in format, but don't view it as such. In a course like called semantics, I think that matters. And it's going to draw a lot on the past material that was pinpointed in the modules that I identified. So designate your answer, click Save Answer. It should save it automatically. But if it doesn't, click Save Answer, and then work your way down through question 8, and then submit and save when you are finished with those questions. Now, I give you an hour to do that. An hour to do that, which should be more than enough time. And ideally, you should be able to save it as, or have it accessed in one full, fell swoop. I think that's important. I think that would be helpful. Now, the other part of this, the other component of this would be the second part of the module, which contains the actual questions. There are 2 essay questions. And the way to get to those essay questions would be to, again, go into the final exam period, scroll down towards this final project essays, and then click the black linked text, and then open the attached file. And I want to make sure that you are seeing what I'm seeing. So permit me just a moment. Okay. Here we go. Final project essays. Okay. So we just looked at the 8 very short questions that you would complete within an hour. And you have question 9 and question 10 here, which is a little bit longer. But I ask you to deliver your responses to these 2 questions in one of 2 formats. You can either give me 300 words for question 9 that in prose touches upon A, B, C, or D, or A, B, C, and D. You want to hit all 4 of these. Or you can give me some sort of video cam response that would be up to 5 minutes where you deliver this content to me orally, where you speak it out. That would be permissible. Like a vlog, right? A videoized blog, as opposed to the more prose-heavy interaction. And then for question 10, I give you about 200 words, if you want to do prose, to hammer out or touch upon A and B, or a 2-minute video where you speak out this content to me, okay? So you're doing questions 9 and 10. It's not a matter of either or. You want to do both. But what you can do is, within the same blog space, you click Create Blog Entry, and you can title this final project essays if you'd like. But within this same blog space, you could write out question 9, and then for question 10, insert a video file that would take me to you speaking to the camera and delivering your points. You would click this plus button here, and then insert file, insert local file. And you can bring in your document that way if you choose to embed media, okay? So you can actually give me 1 video response for question 9 and 10. You can give me 2 prose responses for question 9 and 10. You could give me 2 video responses, 1 for question 9 and 1 for question 10. Or you could do 1 of each. You can mix it up in any way, shape, or form. But the only thing that would matter is that both of those essay questions are included in this single blog space. And then when you're done, you would click post entry, okay? Now, in terms of writing, if you choose to write, which is fine, you can write questions 9 and 10 out in a Google Doc and then download it as a Microsoft Word document, and then insert the file into the text space by, again, using this plus button, or clicking, actually, I think that would be the best way to do it, or copying and pasting from a Word program into the text space. What I would not encourage, actually, is typing directly into the text space. And then when you're done, clicking post entry. So that would be questions 9 and 10. So if you look at the syllabus, you'll see that the final project itself is 30 points, okay? 30 points. But if you go into my grades, you'll see how I divide it up. The test itself is 14 points. I'm sorry, 16 points. 16 points. 8 questions with 2 points per question for a total of 16 points. The essays total 14 points, which average like 7 points per question. But there is a rubric. Now, for the what you want to do or remember to do for the final project essays is within one log, you're including answers to questions 9 and 10. So while it averages out to about 7 points per question, bear in mind that for the whole blog, I'm treating it as a 14-point assignment. So deliver evenly with both. And if for whatever reason you're better in one response than another, I'll break it up. I'll let you know according to the rubric category where you sit and why it is that way. But the 30 points for the final exam or the final project that is included within the final exam period, the 30 points are going to be broken down into the 16-point 8-question breakdown, 2 points per question, and then the 14-point single blog, which includes your 2 essay responses. So those would total the 30 points. Now, keep in mind a couple of things. I initiate this final project as due December 14th. December 14th, Monday night, particularly 11:59 p.m. And that was why initially we had this designated as December 14th right here. But as try as I might, and part of the reason for the delay was the 2 essays, they worked better as standalone writing pieces and not those little questions that we included here. So I wanted to come at you from both angles, okay? So having these essays take a little bit more time, that's why you'll notice the extension. Why I bumped this part up to December 16th, okay? So the 8 questions, you're still doing 10 total questions for this final project, but the 8 smaller questions will be done at a clip of 2 points per question inside of 1 timed hour, and that would be due December 14th. And then the 2 longer essay responses, you have a little bit more flexibility, but they'll both be embedded into 1 blog assignment. That will be due December 16th. So when those are in, the final project is complete, completely in, that will conclude everything in this list for the class that you could be responsible for. The 11 discussion posts, the 3 media analyses, the midterm and final projects, the social media project due tonight, and then the attendance or participation would be what I submit, what I evaluate, what I determine based on your successful completion of all past work. And then that makes up the 200 total points, okay? So that's the course. That's it. So that would be essentially how we land this plane. So when you submit everything for which you are responsible, it basically becomes a process of me continuing to return these assignments to you. So I think the best thing to do when you submit the social media project tonight, when you submit the final project, the 8 mini questions by Monday night, and then you submit the essay responses by Wednesday night, when that officially is in the rear view, just keep checking your my grades to see returned assignments continue to pile up. And when you get a firmer understanding of how everything rolls out and where your attendance participation grade is, I give myself until the 20th to do that. I'm probably not going to need that long. That will determine what your course performance is. In fact, what I can realistically say is that your final course grade should be viewable, retrievable in WebAdvisor by 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the morning of December 19th. So, with that knowledge, you should know where things sit. Um, my last official office hour was yesterday, it's December 10th, but you're certainly welcome to email me with any questions, although, in this crunch time, um, a timely response is not something I can necessarily guarantee. So just keep an eye open to your migrates. And also, if there's anything from the course that you want to take down, because I think like after December 21st, this shell will no longer be retrievable. So when that happens, you lose out on any access to articles or links or anything that you think is worth saving. I might encourage you at this point to copy over or take down anything, course wise, material wise, that you liked or wanted to refer to for your own records. I think that's important. So that is the business end of things. That's housekeeping here. That's how we close up every